Let me turn it on now before I forget. Now, we're going to send you across to James, who's going to reiterate what a fool I am for not turning on the GoPro.
No, I'm not going to say you're a fool. I've done the same myself. I just haven't managed to do it with quite such a spectacular sighting. That really is bad luck. We're sitting here on memory lane, basically. This is the southern boundary. And Shongile and Hosana, Karula, the queen of Djuma's two last cubs, one of whom is still alive, that's Hosana, of course, in fact, were kept in the culvert right where we're standing over here. And so it's just quite interesting. Viam said, it's dark in there. Couldn't have been a very nice place for a cub to be. Yeah, it's very dark, but I think it probably deterred a lot of creatures from going into it. Anyway, we stopped here. I'm going to tell you why we stopped here. I must just quickly share with you a story that Viam shared with me, and that is, of course, Brent made the assertion the other day that he had never been stuck in a fully working 4x4. I think that was what he said. Viam has just shared an experience that he had with Brent being stuck in a fully functional 4x4 jigger. He bottomed out on in a drainage line. Now, I'm by no means casting aspersions on his driving ability, because I have been stuck hundreds of times. I freely admit that, but I do feel that, one must admit these things. So I would like you to ask him the next time you see him why it is that he got stuck with VM. What we have here is a tree that I don't think I've shared with you before. It's not particularly interesting, save for its name. Its name is the blue sweetberry, or Brasilia cathartica. And I have never found a berry on it, but it's not common here, and it's found often on drainage systems like this, and that's what I think we have over here. There is David and Stephen going past, waving with a piece of red spike thorn on the front. Anyway, so that's what this tree is, and you find it growing in these drainage line areas, often on the banks, in a kind of scraggly mass like this. And Viam said to me suspiciously when we got here, he said, "This is surely not a tree, but a shrub." And, well, a tree basically is a shrub. A tree out here is defined by anything that has secondary or woody growth like this. And in the absence of elephants, you'll find a lot of what we define as shrubs over here would definitely turn into trees. So that is the story of Memory Lane, Brent Leo Smith being caught, stuck, and, of course, the blue sweetberry. Thank you very much. Now we will have to move on. Right, we are on the main road, which is not particularly attractive, but that is the way of things. We must get to places, and we're going down here because we're hoping to find Hosana's tracks, and what we have here is soon-to-be ripened guari fruits. All right, Steve's just driven past us with a tree next to him. Let's go and find out where he's going for the last bit of the drive.
It was nice seeing James. We actually saw some tracks on the road, and I was quite perplexed as to who was walking there. And then we found them, head deep in the guari bush. Well, the rain seems to have... Oh, my word. He was sleeping. Is he going to move? Look at that. I'm just going to stop right there. Is that all right, Darby? Oh, sorry, sir. Beautiful warthog was just enjoying a little bit of slumber. It's been very quiet down in the Chitwa side. The radio is also very, very quiet. There's no sign of Hosana from his last position. And with the wind blowing like this, coming from the south, my opinion is he would have probably moved sort of in that sort of direction with the wind, so would have probably crossed out, but there was no reports of him. We didn't find any tracks. The area that we went to was where we had those ellies. We didn't get out there and have a look, but very hard ground and very difficult to find any tracks from that position. But we have now come back onto the Djuma side, and some guys have asked us if we would please go to the north, see if we can find any activity of the wild dogs. So that is what we're going to do. We are now back on Djuma and we are heading north. Quite thankful that the rain has abated, because we were about to completely cover ourselves up and potentially even rush all the way back to camp to put on the roof. As much as I'd like the rain, it's difficult to do this when it's raining. But give us an hour and 20 minutes and then the heavens can open. That will be wonderful. Catching James on foot, he's quite far from camp. So it would be quite a long slog for him to get back without getting very, very wet. But the temperatures, in contrast to yesterday, folks, are fantastic. Folks, we're going to quickly go to Scott, who I believe has got Tingana as well as Thandi. So you go enjoy that.
West of Weaver's Nest. Hello everyone, my earpiece just fell out. We've got a very exciting scene here. This is Tingana, the father of Thandi's tiny little cub, and she's just stumbled into him here. Now I'm wondering if he doesn't have a kill in this area. His tracks were coming into this area yesterday, but Herbie, our master tracker, didn't have any luck finding him. So who knows exactly what's going on here. We are definitely going to stay put to work out what's happened, but a very, very pleasant surprise. She's sniffing very intently. I wonder if she can possibly smell a kill, or if she's just analyzing his scent. What a surprise. I'd driven straight past him and then looked back and thought, oh, hang on, there's another leopard. No, sorry, Zev thought now there was a third one possibly. And I don't know if we've had any sightings of the family together with the tiny cub. It's not to say that it hasn't, of course, happened, that Tingana has gone to investigate his tiny little baby, but the males usually don't pay too much concern for cubs, and it's usually when they're trying to steal a meal from the cub's mother that you get some kind of an exciting scene. Wonderful, wonderful stuff. I think I'm just going to... Actually, we're good here for now. I was thinking of repositioning. I was trying to loop ahead of Thandi, who I was assuming was heading towards a large termite mound. So I was trying to get into position there, but clearly back in the opposite direction. So what I would like to do is suggest that possibly Steve races into this area so that we can split up and each of us can stay with the leopard. It'll be good to know where Tingana ends up. It would make sense, I guess, for us to follow Thandi. It's tricky. It's a tricky one to know what to do now. Let me get a hold of Steve on the Game Drive radio quickly. Steve. It's wonderful spending time with Steve again. We did work together back in the day. Steve, I'm not sure if you copied the message about Tingana and Thandi in the same sighting. It looks like Thandi's moving off, so you can maybe come here if you like and stay with the stationary one. If you just come on on Weaver's Nest, just a little bit, maybe directly opposite of that 2-track to that den you told me of. Oh no. Is he going to follow her? Or is he going to head in the opposite direction? Let me just turn the vehicle around quickly. So Steve is on his way. How much time do we have left? Nearly drove into a tree there. Brent would have found that very funny. We've still got lots of time. Now, I'm torn as to what to do. She's headed up there. Do we stay with her or do we stay with him? Oof. Okay, very good. Well, you'll be glad to know that Jamie has got some assistance up in the Mara, so while we work out which leopard to stay with, we shall send you back up to her to see her in her freedom.
Are I do have some assistance, but first I would like you to all, I'll introduce my assistants in a moment. I'd like you to all look at the back window. Now that vehicle is Chiku, and as you can see, Chiku doesn't have a back window. Now how might that have happened, we ask ourselves? Well, I believe that many months ago now, Brent actually reversed into a tree and broke the window. I'm stuck. I'm really stuck. Now I just want to give Brent a little lesson in humility quickly, and then we'll get on to our amazing rescue team. My diff lock is not working. Okay, that means only one wheel is spinning at the moment. I'm out if all four wheels spin. However, and here's the lesson that we're going to teach Brent. This is my fault. I should not have come through here, and I accept that, and I apologize to the members of the team who are now involved in rescuing me. Taylor, the tables have turned. Finally.
It's only taken 6 months.
It's only taken 6 months, but the tables have well and truly turned. Let's have a look at Taylor's war paint. We all have war paint.
And my active wear.
And your active wear. They were in the middle of being active.
Safari
parkouring, and
But this is a lot better though.
This is a lot better.
I'd rather be spending my last morning.
Well, we're not out yet.
No.
We are.
We might not be getting out.
We might not be getting out. So we don't know if Chiku's diff lock works. And
So we try it.
we're going to give it a go, I think. First I'm going to show you what my feet look like, because, no day is complete without what my feet look like. There you go. That's what my feet look like. Beautiful. Who needs an expensive spa, eh? Okay, I'm going to put my foot down now. I really am going to put my foot down. It's really uncomfortable. Oh. Might need my feet. I don't know. I don't think I'm going to need anything. I don't know if we're going anywhere. But we're going to give it a go. Yes, Kirst, believe it or not, hidden below that are toes. We just need... I'm ready. It's nice and slow with that tow rope. Okay. Okay, we're tight. Oh, boy. Okay, quick off to Thandi, who apparently has caught something.
Yes, Thandi has just managed to catch this duiker. You can see it's still alive, still taking its final breaths. And we were busy sitting with Tingana when we heard this poor duiker let off a telltale squeal. She's doing her best to dispatch it as quick as possible, but it obviously is quite a sensitive scene for any of the more squeamish viewers. It is, of course, nature, and it is important that she's made this meal. Now, what's interesting is that Tingana, the male, came running into this area, but he couldn't find her, and she's going to be trying to avoid him at all costs because she knows full well that he will steal the kill from her. Now, I'm not sure where exactly he's disappeared to. He ran into the area knowing full well what had happened, but he seems to have veered off course. I'm sure he will find her. It's just a matter of time, though. He is not going to give up the search. He's quite far off now, though. I've just got a glimpse of him. We won't try and show you. He's too far away, but he's going to keep working this area, and I'm sure at some points he will find her. And when he does, he is going to try and steal this kill. Well done, Thandi. And we left you for just a couple of minutes, and in that time you did a great job in securing your next meal. Well, there is a little bit of rain beginning to fall again now, so if it does persist, we may need to cover things up, but it seems like things are okay for the time being. Oh no. I just tried to put the remote for the rover away, and I kind of accidentally triggered the one control. Give me a second. Okay, guys, I just need to get onto the game drive radio quickly just to give some guys some updates as to what's going on here. But it seems like Steve is coming to the assistance and helping with that update, so thanks, Steve. Wonderful. It sounds like somebody else would like to come here. Now I've kind of got all my bits that needed to be covered from the rain out the way, so apologies for that. Oh, shame, this duiker is still alive. It's taking quite some time for the coup de grace to kick in. Now, Nancy, you suggesting that possibly she doesn't have the best grip on the throat and therefore is not suffocating it as efficiently as possible. And yes, it looks like she possibly doesn't have the best grip, but it can take quite a while to asphyxiate the prey, especially if the prey hasn't run a long distance. You may find that this duiker was completely ambushed and therefore had lungs full of air that are taking a while to deplete. Now, every time that duiker kicks around, there's a chance that Tingana could hear the rustling and then come charging into the scene. I'm surprised he hasn't been pacing around through this area with more intent, or at least, I guess just the fact that we haven't seen him doesn't mean he isn't searching more intently. But I'm surprised he hasn't come back into this general area and being able to pinpoint where the audio came from. And I guess that's a great example to all of us how difficult it is to pinpoint exactly where audio comes from. He was not even 50 meters away from this kill when he heard the squeal, but he was probably about 20 meters off in terms of the trajectory that he needed to be on in order to find her. Phew. Well, exciting stuff. I'm really interested to see what would happen if Tingana does come onto the scene. I don't think I've ever had a situation where I've seen a kill as fresh as this being made and a male leopard coming in and stealing it. More often than not, it'll be at a kind of static sighting. The female leopard would have been at the kill for some period of time, and then the male will come in and it'll be kind of quite a passive affair. The female just went like, oh well, he's arrived again, and then move down, make space for him to feed on the kill. But this would be very different because she hasn't even had a mouthful of this kill yet. The thing's still alive. So if he came running onto the scene, he would do his utmost best to steal it from her immediately. We could have one of those incredible scenes of where the predators are so caught up in one another that the prey manages to escape. Now, what's happened is very interesting. Let's have a quick look at 1 o'clock there, Seb. Just through the gap at 1 o'clock. That's 11. So over there, there's another duiker approaching. If you just zoom straight in there, there we go. Now, this duiker needs to be very careful because it could, in fact, run into Tingana, the male leopard. And I'm fairly certain that this duiker is on high alerts because, oh, there, Tingana's after it. Tingana ran after it. There we go. There's a glimpse. Well done, Seb. Incredible stuff. One leopard with a kill, not far from us, and another one trying to make one. How incredible. And I think we should invite some other people to the scene because Tingana is heading straight towards her now. I'm thinking he's going to find her. Sorry everyone, we're having some small issues sorting out the other feed, which is a great pity because I'm fairly certain he is about to come across her. He's probably 30 meters away from her now, heading straight towards her, and the wind is also blowing from her towards him. You wouldn't believe what's just happened, everybody. Welcome to this live scene coming to you from South Africa in the Sabi Sands. This is a big male leopard, and he is about to pick up a duiker that has very freshly been killed. It may actually not even be dead yet, so he does need to be careful. This prey animal that is in the grass just below him could pop up and run off because the female leopard that was busy suffocating it dropped it and ran off as soon as she caught wind of this male. Now what's interesting is that, where's the female? There she is. She's still slinking around. What's interesting here is that this female is actually the girlfriend of this male. He is dominant over her territory and actually fathers her current cub. yet she was not going to take any chances with standing up to him as he came tearing in to steal her kill. Now what happened was, we were initially following her, and she led us to him. She just kind of bumped into him in the middle of the bush, and they didn't really even greet one another. They just sniffed around a little bit, and she moved off. We decided to stay with him, and about a minute or two later we heard the telltale squealing of a duiker in distress, which means we knew, as well as the fact that he knew, that she had made a kill, and he came running past her initially, couldn't find her, and literally as you joined us was when he managed to find this kill. Shame, poor old Thandi, the female. She's got a cub to raise, she's got a lot on her plates at the moment, and her boyfriend has just come and stolen her hard-won meal. Can you actually believe it? Fascinating stuff. Now, who knows what exactly he is going to do with it? Time will tell. He may take it up into a tree. I'm guessing he's just going to take it somewhere where he feels comfortable, a little bit secluded, and start snacking on it on the ground. Let's keep moving though. I want to try and get ahead of him, and ideally we'll be able to deploy our little rover, a little machine here, to get you some low angle views as he chomps down on this duiker. It will be so cool if we manage to do this, and I'm confident that we will in fact be able to achieve this. And this is one of the most perfect kind of scenarios for us to deploy this little vehicle that has a camera on it to get you some wonderful low angle views. Just need to kind of plan my attack here. Oof, the grass is so long where he is, but let's see if we can't find a little gap. Now Janine, you would like to know, why is it that Thandi ran off when he came onto the scene? He's twice the size of her, quite easily twice the size of her, and she knows that a male leopard with a meal in its sights is a force to be reckoned with, even though she is his girlfriend. When it comes to mealtime, a lot of the big cats are not very welcoming, even for family members. Okay, well, we're in a good spot here, and I'm just going to wait for him to put his head down and start feeding on the kill before I lean over and deploy the rover. You can see he's very intently looking in her direction. He's got a bit of fur stuck on his muzzle there. He's already started to take the fur off the duiker, and I'm fairly certain he's probably got a view of her. I'm surprised he's taking too much concern of her, considering her reaction to him when he came onto the scene. I do have a view of her, just so that you know, sir, but we can try and show her. She's kind of directly at 12 o'clock, and she's slowly making her way in this direction. She may well pop out there. Incredible, incredible stuff. And she's probably going to lurk around him for quite some time, because she knows that as soon as he kind of falls asleep or snoozes, there will be a small chance that she could reclaim her meal. Okay, now, just so that you all know, I have managed to put the rover down onto the ground, and now that he started feeding, I'm going to very slowly try and approach, but it does make a little bit of a noise, so it can be a little bit intrusive, and these animals haven't got completely used to it yet, so I do need to just make sure everything's up and running as it should be. Why do we not have picture for the rover? Oh no, there we go. Very good. Back on track. All right. It seems like we are having some technical issues with our little rover, so we'll leave it for the time being and not lose focus here. I'm going to have another scan around to try and work out where the female is. No immediate sign of her. And she's probably just going to lurk around nearby while he enjoys her hard-won meal. Can you believe that? Absolutely incredible. I'm surprised he's not feeding more ferociously. It looks like he's trying to catch his breath, but I'm not too sure why he is out of breath. I guess he could have been running around in search of her when he initially heard her make the kill. It did take him about 2 or 3 minutes to work out exactly where she was. Okay, well, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone who just joined us briefly on Facebook. I hope you enjoyed this exciting and interesting scene between a male leopard and his girlfriend whose kill he stole. Very good. We'll be sure to keep you updated with any further notifications if things heat up here a little bit later. Otherwise, you can continue to follow this live safari on Safari Live on YouTube. Okay, so it seems like Steve may also be in the sighting with us. I can see a shimmer of what I think is a vehicle. And yeah, I think that is Steve. I can't be certain, but if it is, it'll be useful for us to give him some directions towards where I last saw Thandi, just to make sure she is still there and not possibly on the move hunting, because then of course he could follow her. There's the shimmer that I was speaking of, and there you can see one of the telltale Safari Live headlights. Let me get hold of Steve quickly on the radio. Steve. Steve, if you can see where I am, if you head directly kind of east and slightly north, we last had a visual of Thandi there. I can direct you into where I saw her. Okay, very good. Well, while Steve and I work out the best plan here, we shall be sending you back up to the Masai Mara, to the scene of Jamie's unfortunate stucking in the mud.
So, we were out. Basically, we were within a few centimeters of going over the top of the hill, and the tow rope snapped. Hence why I've got the windscreen up now. We know it's always a risk, it's a possibility with the with tow rope snapping, but unfortunately, it decided to do it twice. So we're nearly out. We are nearly out. It's just a question of whether or not we can actually get the rope to hold now that the stitching is all torn out. So Jeandre is busy trying to make a plan, and I'm sitting here with my foot on the brake just to stop us from going backwards, back into the water. Oh dear. You want to know the best part of it? We were 2 cameramen here who are shadowing Jeandre for their interview, or in preparation for their interview. So they've had the best start. Bernard and Martin have had the best start to their day. We're going to have a flying...
Yeah, it'll work.
It'll work, okay. We want some gaffer tape. It's not on the gear stick anymore. This is fun.
Yeah, there's a screwdriver that could go fly now.
Yeah. So that you're getting to see it really behind the scenes. Taylor, do you want to wave to everyone? We are again, yes. Hi. So Taylor's going to hopefully catch her flight on time. She's very kindly come to rescue us. I will not deny you your trip to the beach. Okay, we're going to figure this out. We'll get out. We'll send you back across to James while we do.
Right, what we have here is an example of a tree that I don't think I've seen many living examples of here at Djuma. It is acacia, or used to be acacia, it's now Vachellia nilotica. and it's been pushed over by elephants, naturally, and it's only these Nilotica trees that form a crown this dense. I mean, this mass of thorns is quite something. Now, we have been talking over the last few walks that I've done about the differences or the change of name from acacia to Vachellia in the case of these long white-thorned ones, and then the ones that used to be acacia nigrescens and acacia burkii, so the ones with the small hooked thorns, their genus is now Senegalia. So we have acacia with the big white horns, at least Vachellia with the big white thorns, and Senegalia with the small hooked thorns. This one was obviously a Vachellia. And I've seen a few of these on quarantine, much smaller than this, but they really are not common in this area. Then we've got some fungus growing on it. And this is the kind of place where if you were an entomologist and you were a scientific entomologist, in other words, you didn't really care about what they call collecting, which means you'd come and you'd gas this tree, basically, and see what fell out of it dead. That's how you do an assessment of its diversity. But I think you'd find an astonishing array of insects living in here. But here is a fungus growing out of the wood. And it's a type of a bracket fungus, and you can see why it's called a bracket fungus, because it looks to like a
bracket.
That's correct, like a bracket. Well done. Now, as we look at this bracket fungus, one does feel slightly inadequate on the back end of the sighting that Scott has just had. And as I have said to you before, one attempts to feel happy for one's colleagues when they see things like that, but one does feel a tremendous driving sense of jealousy on the back end of a sighting of Thandi killing a duiker and then Tingana coming in after a morning with the cub. We've got a bracket fungus. Wonderful. Kirsten says, but your fungus is nice. Yes, I suppose it is. It's just as nice as a leopard cub and leopard kill and that sort of thing. It's wonderful. It's great. Come, Vim. Let's carry on. You go that way. I'll go this way. Let's see what else we can find up here. We've really had, from a mammal point of view, we've had a fairly poor return this morning. But we still have a little bit of time left. Here, a beautiful gardenia tree. And I am often asked what the best smell in the bush is, and I think that it is the gardenia for the very brief period that it flowers. The wind's starting to howl now. Okay, let's leave the garden. No, never mind. All right, let's carry on. Little pan up here. Let's see what's in our pan. This is Chela pan, or the frog pan. And we had what we think are Tumba's tracks around here earlier today. We did follow them for a while, but they disappeared into the bushes. So maybe he's around here. Scott's not too far from here with his sort of pride of leopards that he has there. Ooh. There's a three-banded plover there. You see it, Wumpy? And it is hunting. Should we do an action broadcast?
Does it have a cub?
It doesn't have a cub, no, Viam. So we can't do an action broadcast. Then, above it, Wumpy, we might do an action broadcast on what I'm going to show you next. There is a red-backed shrike female. Can you see it on the bush next to it? This is called advanced camera work. A small bird at some distance. Well spotted.
How do I got it, actually? I'm just kidding.
I don't know. No, you don't. You've just got tree there, which is pathetic. Go to the right. It should be in there. Oh, you've got that red thing on. I can't see anything. It's right on the. It's on the right-hand side of what you're looking at there.
Let's try again.
You got it there. Yeah. No. Back it up a bit. It's just there. You can see that thicket where you were before? There's a red... There, you got him.
Alright.
Well done, red-backed shrike, everybody. Okay, we can go live with the action broadcast. I am joking, everyone. We're not actually going to go. The abuse I'm receiving from the final control right now is quite something. Okay, let's continue on our way. I suppose if one asks for it, one is going to get it, really. Robin, I don't know. You say, what is the purpose of the bobbing action? Sorry, I've been distracted by a dragonfly on the ground there. You see it there? Got it? Just over here. Robin, I'm going to get to your question. You say, what's the purpose of the bobbing action of birds' heads? Well, I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about the bobbing action shown by or demonstrated by that plover, which is very different from, say, the bobbing action of a pigeon. A pigeon will do it as a display to other pigeons. And also, when they walk, they will keep their heads they'll try and keep their heads still. When they fly and when they walk, they'll keep their heads still, and the rest of the body will kind of move underneath it, and that just helps them to see properly and accurately place their beaks where they're going to place their beaks. But that kind of bobbing of the sort of rocking over the feet, I don't know what purpose it serves. And there are a few birds that do it, and it's actually an identifier. You'll see a lot of these shorebirds do it. So I'm assuming that it's probably because, I'm going to guess here, so I've never read this, but because they strike so quickly at the things that they're trying to catch, I think you'll find that their weight is distributed almost exactly equally over their feet, and that means that it probably just kind of happens like that, so they bob and bob and bob and then strike and bob back. That's why I think they probably do it. I hope that makes some kind of sense. Before you can tell me it doesn't, let's go back to the Masai Mara, where Brent Leo, I've never been stuck, is sitting with a large animal that is grey, that has a long nose, and it is in fact an elephant.
Well, we do have some lovely ellies, and it's not that I haven't been stuck, but I've been stuck enough to have learned from being stuck. That is what it is. Now, out on the longer grasses, we do get a lot of elephants, and they are loving the fact that there's no competition for the grass at the moment. And we can hear a rufous-naped lark. And lots of frogs down below us. Rat, 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 rat. Okay, well, while the ellies relax and continue to feed, we've still got a long way to go. We're still about, as the crow flies, about 30 kilometers from home, but driving probably about 70 odd k's from home. So we're going to keep moving. And I was hoping to bump into some lions around here. The Sala's breakaway pride, often see them in this area, but there's not much apart from those elephants we've seen in the last sort of half an hour. Oh, we have had some sticky, muddy situations, but we've managed to come through them. Now, I can tell you, I think the worst I ever got stuck was in Zambia, and I got stuck for 3 days. 3 days. So what happened is we're on our way to build a temporary camp, and there is a damper. Oh, hang on. Sorry, Topi. And our truck was driving ahead of us, a big old Unimog, and it crossed, or tried to cross the damper about 3 days before we got there. Sorry, Topies. I can't slow down. I have to move out of the way. Off you go, baby topies. It left 3 days before us, and it got stuck. And then we came a couple of days later, and it was still stuck in the same spot. And I thought I was very clever. I think I was about 21. And the arrogance of youth took over, and I was like, no, come on, guys, you guys are silly. And I tried to drive around, just around the truck, and I got stuck exactly next to the truck. And it took us 3 days of digging, cutting trees, making a log bridge to get out of the mud. Fortunately, we had a lot of food on the truck, so we didn't go hungry. Now, Justin's wondering about why there's no back window in Chiku. Yes, that was me. I think I was with Dave. Yes, I was with Dave, and I was quite distracted. It was in the early days. Oh, hang on. And I got confused about where roads went, and we were trying to get out of the park on time, and I didn't see the tree. Or I hit a tree in the Masai Mara. That's firstly impressive, if you look at this. But there was a stump, a dead tree about this high, and I couldn't see it, and I reversed straight into it, and the spare wheel knocked the back window out. So yes, that was me. Wow, it's so quiet in this area, and a couple of months ago it was incredible. It was full of game, and they seem to have moved now further to the north. Let's go back on board with, I think it's Scott, all the way in South Africa.
Hello everyone, welcome back. My earpiece just fell out there, hence the reason why I didn't welcome you on board immediately. We've just repositioned. We had a quick look around for any sign of Thandi. Against my suspicions, it looks like she may well have moved off and just completely abandoned the thoughts of trying to steal any scraps of this kill that she made, and her boyfriend Tingana, who's busy feeding it on it, stole it from her. He seems to be having a wonderful, wonderful meal there. Sadly, my plans to deploy the rover a little bit closer to him. Imagine how cool it would be if we could see him snacking on that kill from a kind of dung beetle's perspective right alongside him. But sadly, this grass is very long, and I'm learning that our friend Ronald does not perform too well in long grass and or off-road. So we are not going to continue with that plan. Safari Heart, you interested to know whether the other duiker that we saw was the mate of this duiker? And I don't think so. It looked like this one's a female, and the other one that we got a glimpse of also, if I remember correctly, was a female. So maybe a daughter or a neighbor, but it seems like both of the duiker we saw in this area were females. Now, I am trying to get another vehicle into the sighting without much joy, so I do need to continue trying to work that out with him. Elvis? I always get confused between Elvis and Abel. It was Abel. Sorry, Abel. Where you now? Okay, copy, very good. Is Steve there with you? Well, some exciting news. Abel, who was trying to make his way into the sighting, has now bumped into Thandi and the little cub, who are now on the move. So I'm hoping Steve gets there quickly. Although I'm not actually sure on the exact protocol. It should only actually be a one vehicle sighting, but maybe Steve will be able to pop in there once Abel has moved out. Kevin, you'd like to know why he keeps kind of rubbing his tongue against the roof of his mouth every time after he's fed, and that's probably to remove any fur that he's ingesting along the way. So they will try and avoid as much fur as possible, but naturally a lot does get ingested as they go. and they'll have to cough those out as fur balls at a later stage. Absolutely fascinating. This morning we've had to spend time with a leopardess and her cub, all just relaxed and playful at the den, and then to follow the mother out to have him make a kill. Sadly, we didn't see that, but we were close enough to hear it, and then have this male come rush in and steal it from her is something that I've actually never witnessed before. I've seen lots of males come in and steal old kills from a female, but I've never seen a female abandon an entire freshly made kill to one of her boyfriends, so that was a first for me. And what was fascinating, and what I'm sure a lot of you will agree with, is the fact that she dropped the kill so early. She kind of, I don't even think we managed to film it, it all happened so quickly, but she dropped the kill when he was still probably 20 or 30 meters away. She was not sticking around to take any chances. Ravinda, you would like to know if leopards like to drink the blood of their prey, and yes, they certainly do. They will actively drink the blood. So will cheetah. I've noticed cheetah also like to do that. Once they've punctured an artery, often when they're suffocating the animal, they'll often just lap up the blood that continues to pump out of the body. And I've also been told stories of leopards that cause trouble on farms, especially sheep farms in South Africa. And what will happen is the leopards will come in and kill 10 or 15 sheep, but only actually drink the blood of them. I guess it's a combination of the fact that it's so easy for them to kill the sheep that they get carried away with it. Let me just get back with Abel again. Sorry, Abel, go again. No, I'm still in the block with Tingana. Okay, magical stuff. Well, you'll be glad to know that Steve has got into position with Thandi and the cub. Enjoy.
So we've managed to come around. Just see visual of Thandi there. Going to reposition now, and hopefully she's going to come out for us. She is with her cub, and she has lost her meal to we believe, the father of her cub, I think. What a tragedy for her. But we just had visual of the cub for a moment. Maybe we just park ourselves in a position here where we can see her coming out. Here she comes. Beautiful mama. Give her lots of space. So Scott asked us to come into the area to help because of the two leopards. Obviously one would push the other one away. There it is. There's the little cub just behind her. You hear the squirrel's alarm calling in the background. He's going to come into the open now. Here she comes, folks. There he is. Oh, so beautiful. Giving her lots of space. This is wonderful stuff. And the cub is very playful. Here she comes. Isn't that just a bundle of cuteness? So she is gone hungry, and I don't think she would hunt with her cub in tow. Oohs and ahs, indeed, folks, indeed. She's heading directly back towards where she was denning with the cub a few days ago, and it's possibly likely because Tingana was so close to where she made that kill just now of that duiker, that she'd rather just get the cub and move somewhere else for safety's sake. How amazing is that? Sharp, sharp, eh? One of the vehicles from the Chakana camp in the north. We were in this area trying to help Scott out, and we couldn't find him. But he, what's she doing? She's looking at something. So we just did a bit of a loop, and we managed to find her in the road. Just come around here. There they are. Yes, the views, I believe you've all been discussing that she dropped her kill. You know, it's best to leave and to save another day, stand for another fight. You can't afford to, a female leopard can't afford to tackle a male leopard. It's just not worth the effort. I've seen male leopards kill females before in the past when she was defending her cubs, and a male leopard pulled her out the tree, and that was very sad. But she did what she could for her babies. They're going to go in front, and we're going to do what we call the leapfrogging technique. We don't want to chase her though, so we must be very careful. But we'll try and stay with her for a little while and see. Maybe she's going to den her cub somewhere new, and obviously then we'll know, so we can come back in the afternoon. And with this nice cool temperature, it's awesome for us to be able to see leopards moving at this time of day. And while we continue following this bundle of cuteness, we're going to go back up to the Masai Mara, where I believe it's been quite wet and quite muddy, and I think there are marshmallows all over the place. I believe Jamie is celebrating getting unstuck.
The flight to catch, everybody left. Genre and Jamie battled on, dug, threw rocks, dug some more, threw some more rocks, and then I drove backwards, and then I drove forwards really, really fast, and we're out. We're out. We are triumphantly out. We didn't get pulled out. We got ourselves out. We are covered in mud. I'm going to probably have to, I don't even know if this stuff's going to come out of these trousers. We're probably going to need a shower, and the car's going to need one too. And I had to put toilet paper on the brake pedal and the clutch because I couldn't actually control what was happening with my feet. It just slipped off. But we're out. Now we just have to get there. We are out without Deflock. Sheer brute force. That's what it was in the end. It was sheer brute force and throwing a lot of rocks around. And that was how we got out. And I feel, as much as we got stuck, it was entirely my own fault. It's always the best feeling when you get yourself out. We got ourselves out, and that's what counts. It only took us an hour and a half, give or take. Okay, we are going to journey on back towards home. Given that, well, that's where the showers are, let's go back across to Djuma, who's had far better luck and some amazing leopard sightings.
Well, very happy that Jamie has finally got out the mud, and let's hope she doesn't get stuck soon again, and rather that Brent does. Not much has changed here. Tingana continues to snack on this tasty duiker, and what a lucky morning he has had, as well as us. It's been a magical morning, and I'm very, very happy that it paid dividends for Steve to move into this area. It sounds like you got some great views of Thandi and the youngster on the move. Interesting. You wonder what her plans are now, where she plans on moving the cub to. You know, she was happy to stash it there while she went off hunting, and maybe it's the fact that he's nearby that she wants to move the cub away. It's just, hard to understand exactly what her motives are. But I'm glad it's worked out in our best interest, because it's got you some more views of that cute little cubby. Now, Tingana looked quite hungry before he stumbled upon this easy meal, so it'll be interesting to see whether or not he actually finishes this kill before the evening safari, and I've got a feeling that he might. So that's kind of my gut feel at this stage, that he'll consume the whole thing and be done with it by the time we head out this evening, but only time will tell. Catherine, you'd like to know if male leopards will steal from any other leopards or only leopards that they know. Through default, Catherine, I think, especially a big dominant male like this, he's going to know most of the leopards that he comes across because he's in an established territory. And other than possibly young males flying below the radar, sneaking through his territory, it's going to be his ladies that he is familiar with, that he bumps into. But, like I said, there could be a young male that is flying below the radar, trying to find a territory of its own that a big male leopard could steal a kill from, and therefore not necessarily know who that leopard is. Or it could be the fact that, a female is moving through an area, also trying to find a territory. Essentially, I think a lot of the time they will know who they're stealing from, but there will be occasions where almost definitely they do not. Very good. We are going to race you back to Steve, who is still with Thandi and the cub.
Yes, indeed. From Tingana, the big male, to Thandi, the leopardess with a beautiful little bundle of joy. We are trying to keep up with them. You see they're disappearing into the thickets here. But we're hoping we can see where she deposits the little cub. Quite easy to follow them here because, not with the vehicle I mean, but with the sounds of the animals. You can hear the birds and the squirrels. Lisa asks, will she try and hunt again? I mean, I think now that she's got her cub walking with her, she'd rather try and go and deposit the cub somewhere safe. I'm not sure what happened this morning, how she had the cub walking with her, but they will not hunt, I don't think, with... Just see her through the gap there. Don't think they will hunt with the cub in tow, but she might try and deposit her again and then maybe go out. The temperatures are beautiful. They're really, really nice temperatures for moving about. We'll just see if we can find her again here. But yeah, if the weather stays like this, most certainly she'll try hunt again. Sorry about that. Trying to find a leopard in here is quite... There she's coming over there, Davy. Just crossing the drainage line there. She's coming straight towards us. Now, this is fantastic. Let me see. You're good there. Sorry, Davy, you're good there. I mean, obviously, if something presents itself... Yes, folks, a fantastic drive. Obviously, if an animal presents itself, she will kill it now. But I think her primary objective is to try to get the cub back to a safe spot. The clouds are starting to clear. It is warming up a bit now, so it might be... Here we go. Coming right down in front of us here. This is awesome. Perfect positioning. Might be coming to the end of their morning with regards to temperature increasing. But leopards are such opportunistic hunters. They will hunt anything and everything whenever they can. I once had a male leopard kill a zebra in the morning, and when we found him that afternoon, he had the baby zebra and 2 bush warthogs up the tree with him. So he wasn't hungry, he just hunted out of the fact that he was hungry. Or just instinct. Okay, so it looks like they might be denning down in this big termite mound now. We might go around a little bit, see if we can relocate on them. I don't want to push her though. The birds are telling us that they're here. Franklins are very upset. There we go. You can see they're flying off the top. And so from us here in Djuma, Sabi Sands, and from those up in the Masai Mara, we'd like to say thank you very much for joining us on a wonderful game drive this morning. From elephants to warthogs to leopards and leopard kills. Absolutely fantastic for myself, Dave and Steve and all the other present. Thank you so much for your questions, and we'll see you again this afternoon at 4 o'clock sharp. Have a wonderful day.